Waiting on a green. Oh, there's a green dot.
There's a green dot. All right, good morning. It's Brushfire Mind live on Wednesday morning. That means it's time for WTF CNN. We're going to talk about James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, Jeff Zucker, and all that madness. And oh, by the way, did y'all catch Steven Crowder's live stream yesterday? Stick with us for a minute. We're going to do this. So, it's in fairness, I'd say we're just a little bit late to the game on this one, but frankly, I wanted to wait and see how much more came out of Project Veritas before we started talking about it. Last week, Veritas started dropping these videos where we've got an insider basically leaking damning evidence out of CNN, out of what's going on there. Now, for weeks, months, really, we've been doing this segment on Wednesdays, WTF CNN, where we point at the CNN homepage, and last week we pulled up the CNN homepage and just looked at it. Trump, 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 Trumpity Trump, Orange Man bad, gas prices are high in California, Trump, 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 Trump. Which, by the way, I'm still over here just clutching my nuts laughing at the fact that all these California hippies are having to use diesel-powered generators to power their Teslas.
Yeah, that's its whole thing. There's your environmental standards, kids. Right
yeah.
there.
Whoops. Anyway, because strip mining lithium is way better for the environment than
clearing out
nothing
dead brush.
Ever.
Yeah, exactly. So Project Veritas.
So they've leaked a couple of videos here. And these show a very clear bias coming from Jeff Zucker, who's the president of CNN, against Donald Trump, and that he's more than happy to essentially conduct propaganda warfare against the president. Make no mistake, what we have here, I've heard people use the word treason. I don't think that's correct. I think the word that they're looking for is sedition, which, in fairness, there's a good argument to be made that is treason that it's a flavor of treason. I'm going to disagree with that a little bit, but that does not mean that I'm going to give him a pass for sedition. So here we're going to watch just a little bit of the video on Project Veritas's website. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to Veritas on YouTube, y'all should be following these guys. They are possibly the last bastion of legitimate reporting in the professional news space.
At least this style of hard-hitting investigative reporting, yeah. But yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that looks like. We're 3 minutes in. We're going to try to wrap it up by 20 minutes this morning because I've got stuff to do.
I decided to secretly record the 9 a.m. rundown call meetings, and it's basically run by Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN.
We're moving towards impeachment. I mean, we shouldn't pretend, this is going one way, and so all these moves are moves towards impeachment.
When I came to work at CNN, I mean, it was my dream job, and that dream actually just turned into a nightmare.
So I just want to say on the Lindsey Graham front, I know that there's a lot of people at CNN that are friendly with Lindsey Graham. Time to knock that off, and it's time to call him out. And I think what's going on in America now is really fundamentally the result of years of fake news, conspiracy nonsense from Fox News.
He was calling Fox News fake news and a propaganda machine, and with what I saw, I'm like, that's pretty much what CNN was. Like, it's just
pretty much what CNN was. Okay.
Yeah, we've been talking
because
this week.
Remember the Scaramucci slip?
Yeah, look, I mentioned earlier in the week that Democrats project, like, they see racists everywhere because they're racist. They see authoritarians everywhere because they're authoritarian, and blah, blah, blah. God, that's hysterical. The president of CNN is accusing somebody else of being fake news. Like, That is so ironic and humorous. It somehow inverts itself and comes out the other side as a thing that's not even funny anymore. It's like way overusing the fart joke. I
Yeah,
mean,
like,
way.
well, like the Scaramucci thing where they said that CNN reported that Congress was investigating Scaramucci over alleged ties to Russia. Not only did they retract the story, it was such a bungle that the reporters involved ended up resigning from CNN. Right? And which doesn't sound like a resignation to me. It was pretty clear at the time they were fired because not because they did something that CNN didn't approve of, but because they got caught doing what CNN does. Then the Trump Jr. collusion, they reported that he got heads up, and then it turned out, oh no, there are dates on things that are sent electronically, and no, he was emailed after the time that you did. CNN actively lied about uh, when Trump Jr. got his hands on the emails to make it look like he was running out ahead of him. The thing about 17 intelligence agencies came to the same conclusion about Russian meddling, we know that was an absolute falsehood. Not all 17, there are more than 17 agencies for one, and not all of them even had conclusions to begin with, let alone all agreed on the conclusions they came to, and they had to retract that. Uh, the Comey thing, good God, we've gone far enough on that. Remember Trump's fish food thing? They made a big deal out of how Trump was just like, oh, this asshole, he just dumped his whole box of food into the koi pond. Oh yeah, turns out, okay, he was following the lead of Abe, who emptied his box of food out first. Now, this one, a lot of them read it like, oh, it was just a simple mistake, whatever. Guys, I got my degree in philosophy and film, which includes editing film or video. And let me tell you something. You don't accidentally cut half a video out to show if you cut a video, you cut it to show the thing you wanted to show. And if the thing in there that proves the thing you wanted to show to be false doesn't show up in your final edit, it's because you did that on purpose. There was no accident about it. Oh.
Yeah, and let me just echo that. I haven't done anywhere near as much cutting as Chris has, but I've actually cut some of the stuff that we do. And yeah, there is no accident. You sit there, you look at an hour's worth of raw footage, and you boil that down to 5 minutes, and you pick the 5 minutes that goes on there. There's no way you just said, "Nah, Adobe, I want you to just do it for me, and if something screws up, whatever." No, not at all how that works.
And when you're talking about, like you said, an hour of raw footage, and I'm trying to boil it down into 5 minutes, you're making every choice about what goes into that 5 minutes very carefully, because it is deeply difficult to squeeze an hour's worth of raw footage and get the best bits for that 5 minutes. A clean bill of health. Remember this one? PolitiFact rated the claim mostly false that GOP changes to Obamacare could make rape and sexual assault pre-existing conditions. Yes, CNN reported that the Republicans wanted to make rape and sexual assault non-covered medical conditions that excluded you from health insurance. Right?
Yeah, and
We're talking about the same. We're talking about the same kind of networks that made claims like the Young Turks, claims like the heartbeat bill in Georgia means that miscarriage is now a crime for which you can serve time. Bald-faced lie. Right?
well, dude, you know why Democrats would oppose this? You know, when Epstein would knock up some 15-year-old girl, they'd totally be able to have an abortion. Otherwise, there might be proof of what happened.
Epstein didn't kill himself. Also, these guys have it in for Tulsi Gabbard. We're going to get to that in just a minute. We're going to talk a little bit about Steven Crowder's live stream yesterday, where he dropped some bombshell, and what he dropped as far as bombshell reporting goes. The thing that he reported on is not the bombshell, and we'll get to it in just a second. But it's something that we have known, we have speculated on heavily, and most conservative Americans have believed it to be the case already. But what Crowder did yesterday is he published absolute conclusive proof and evidence to support what has, frankly, by the left been called just conspiracy theory and just tin hat madness. But Crowder really popped it off. And as far as, I mean, I lost my spot for a second. Okay, no. Talk about these guys and their pro-choice stance. One of the reasons that CNN won't cover Tulsi Gabbard, and YouTube and Twitter and Google have been actively suppressing her in search results. One of the primary reasons that they just hate her is because Tulsi Gabbard, even though she's running as a Democrat for president, she takes what they view as the extreme far right-wing position that you should murder your babies before they're born. She believes that you should do all your baby murdering at least 2 months before the baby's born.
Yes. And I actually think where Tulsi Gabbard's concerned, there's quite a bit of envy, because she's attractive and well-spoken and actually can verbally punch other people in the face effectively. Like, let's not forget, there's a reason why Kamala Harris's campaign died on the vine, and her name is Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. And we're not going to go through all these because, as you can see, we could literally go on for days. This is just a list of some of the top 20 fake news articles that have been published by CNN. CNN is fake news. There's just no other way to say it.
Communist News Network.
Yeah. Now, the thing that Crowder verified for all of us yesterday is that with his show and others, and with Tulsi Gabbard's campaign, and I suspect we'll discover more and more that this is also true of Yang's campaign, because Yang takes the extreme far right position that a person should earn money on occasion. Like, not even full time. He's got the whole UBI thing, but he does take the position that there's such a thing as legitimately earned capital. Madness. But
how dare you? How dare you?
What Crowder proved out with all that is he's been able to show analytics that prove that his show and Tulsi Gabbard's campaign in particular were actively suppressed in search results exclusively within the United States. So if you use a virtual private network and falsify your location to pretend that you are located in a foreign country, like in Europe or anywhere else in the world outside of the United States, and you search on YouTube for Steven Crowder, then his content comes up in the search result immediately. But if you're in America, and he said that they switched him back on, but let's do a little experiment.
While you're typing that up, here's the basic premise, because there's two things going on. There's the AdSense program, and then there's the search results program. That's weird. Crowder publishes this huge video, and things change back.
Not much, though. look, latest from Steven Crowder. You got 2 videos here. And then it's a bunch of stuff where Crowder's name is in it because somebody else mentions him. But you got Brett Weinstein, you got Earthling Ed. What the hell is that? Okay, some Blaze TV. Inside Edition. You got a bunch of not Steven Crowder content about Steven Crowder. By like a lot. And then there's this section here. Okay, so suddenly some Steven Crowder pops up. Oh, it's because I've already watched it. So
yeah. So the long and the short of it is
he's still getting suppressed, obviously.
And the long and the short of it is Chris is getting lots of text messages this morning.
I'm sorry.
But aside from that, and we're going to stay away from the AdSense thing, and that's something we'll probably cover a little later. But when you Google something, how many of us, myself included, never click over to the second page? We just don't do it. In fact, how many of us never get past the first half dozen or so search results? So what would happen is if you use an American VPN, you Google Steven Crowder pops up, but he pops up on page 2, or he pops up at the bottom of page 1. And ditto for Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other stuff. There's a video from Razor Fist that's about 6 weeks old where he did an experiment where he typed something in Google and then he typed the same thing in Bing and got completely different search results. So it's actually really, really lightly pressing your thumb on the scale. But if you have a very, very sensitive scale, all you have to do is lightly press your thumb on it and you throw the results completely out of whack. So if you use a German VPN, just as an example, and you search for these same things, well then all of a sudden, bang, now Steven Crowder is the first result. And we're talking about a guy with 4 million subs. If you search for Steven Crowder on YouTube, you're searching for Steven flippin' Crowder. You're not looking for Steven Crowder responses and stuff like that. You're looking for Steven Crowder. There's no way that mistake could be made. And one of the things that he called for and suggested needed to happen was a congressional inquiry. I'm normally really, really hesitant to get Congress involved and drag people to Washington and blah, 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 blah. But you basically have an information company, and which is what these companies are. It's what multimedia is. It's information sharing. It's the whole point of the internet, at least so we're told. But I think we got to have the congressional inquiry because we've got to have the subpoena power. We've got to be able to go through all of their files, because you want to say, oh, blame the algorithm or this or that. No. Even if it is the algorithm, somebody wrote the algorithm. Somebody deliberately set the algorithm up in such a way as to where it could be manipulated, and you can manipulate algorithms. Ask any pre-algebra student. It's not that hard to do. You add a number to one side of the equation, you got to add the same number to the other side of the equation, or the equation no longer balances.
Yeah, and the old adage is numbers don't, or figures don't lie, but liars love figures.
Yep. And computer terms, they say garbage in, garbage out.
Yep.
So how are these two things related? Well, simply put, they're both types of propaganda, and it's a really specific type of propaganda, and it's where you use facts to propagate falsehoods. Goes back to what Chris just said. Figures don't lie, but liars love figures. So take, for example, and we talked about this earlier this week too, the whole thing about Russia, if you're out there, maybe you have the emails. It is true that Trump said that. It is 100% true that Trump said that. But if you take that and you take it out of context, well, now you're using facts to spread a falsehood. When you Google Steven Crowder, you find things about Steven Crowder, but you don't necessarily find the thing that you're looking for. And again, we're using facts to spread falsehoods.
How dare you?
Yes. I dare. I dare. I do indeed dare. And this is I would argue, the most dangerous type of propaganda to overcome. It's very similar to the whole thing with the fish in the koi pond and all that good stuff. All you have to do is selectively edit it, show the world Trump dumping the box of fish food into the pond, and then bang, everybody's like, what a moron. And you just leave out the rest of the video. And yeah. But that's all I got this morning. WTF, CNN, wake the hell up, go to work. And I hate to cut it off abruptly, but I got to go dad.
Roger that. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll see y'all tomorrow for Totar Win Thursday. It's going to be a good one. So y'all be safe out there, and see you tomorrow. It's time to go to work.
All right, buddy. I got to